Currently we are here with Mark Frederiks. Welcome, Mark. You are Managing Director of Local to Local. Basically specialist in shorter food chains and sustainability. And what I think is really interesting is also your transition based on the GAIN transition model. I was wondering, what are the main focus areas of Local to Local?
In essence, Local to Local reconnects citizens with farmers, because that's lacking. So we have a lot of food in the Netherlands, and especially in Flevoland. It's the vegetable garden of the northern part of Europe, and we designed something that's a wonder by itself. But what we forgot is that we need to be connected with each other to really give food the purpose that it has, and not only to feed us, but also to transform your region so you can enjoy it from a recreational perspective. And what about food as a medicine? We obesitas, it's a big problem, but if you start just walking a little bit more and eat healthy food instead of all the fast food with sugar and salt, we fix the obesitas problem, because 50% of people that are obese or have diabetes can be solved by just move your body and get good food inside, and it saves billions. So focusing on food from a regional perspective has a lot of good effects. And Local to Local is a short food supply chain, so we get products from farmers from Flevoland and Utrecht and Amsterdam, and we deliver the food to our customers in the region of Amsterdam. And it's not only that, but we also connect all stakeholders within the metropolitan region of Amsterdam around challenges of food. And food is not only the thing that we put in our mouth. And within that we have developed several we did several experiences up with our local food system with Local to Local. And the GAIN transition model is a model that fixes collaboration. So with Local to Local, we have been active for 12 years supplying a local market with local food. But in the end, it's just a really difficult and complex business model. And we have a lot of high logistical costs because the streams are small. We have to fix our marketing by ourselves, and a farmer is someone that makes food, it's not a marketeer. We have to make a logistical solution based on small streams, so high costs. We had to build an IT platform to facilitate the business. And in the end, we don't want to ask our customer to pay the whole lot and pay for all the costs. So it's really complex. It's a small wholesaler in the essence. And within that, in that word, small wholesaler is complexity. And in the Netherlands, in the metropolitan region of Amsterdam, we have hundreds of initiatives that are challenging the food system as we do. And that we saw that challenging it on the traditional way of getting more products in a truck and being more efficient doesn't solve our real problems. It's just about making a wholesaler more whole. And that is what we already have. So food brings a connection between consumers and farmers, and within that it facilitates a dialogue, but we can also focus on what we want food to be for us as a region, from a cultural perspective, for climate adaptation, logistic problems that we have within the city of Amsterdam and in all cities, metropolitan regions. And grabbing food brings it all together. And the GAIN transition model facilitates the collaboration from a regional perspective between governments, education, farmers, citizens, and change makers over the entire scale of food transition.
Right, yeah. Really interesting. You already mentioned a couple of challenges so beautifully, like distribution, also like the data and the ICT kind of component, transparency. What would you consider the main challenge currently, let's say, for affordable, fresh, local products?
In the end, if you look at our customer base at this time, we have a lot of early adopter customers. They're willing to pay more, believe in our mission, and they don't mind us being not efficient as the supermarket or the wholesalers that we have here. So the next group of customers, if we want to scale up, we have to find our way to the early majority, and they want an affordable, accessible, sexy product. And in that leap from early adopter to early majority, there are big challenges, efficiency challenges, IT challenges. And if you look at the entire systemic problem that we have with food, we have the same systemic problem in governance. We have the same systemic problem with logistics, but also our financial market is at the end of his life cycle. And if you look at the systemic components, data is a really important element. We lack data and fact-based evidence underneath the promise of a short food supply chain on the reconnection between farmers and citizens, and we don't have the data to really fix this systemic problem. So we need to focus on evidence. What is the real value of food? If we combine all these elements and value propositions together, how can we create market traction from a city perspective? So there's volume, but not only volume for the volume thing, but it's the impact that we like to reach. And within that you have the enablers like local to local, like flavor food, the IT facilitation. So you can connect impact, evidence, and market volume, and like a demand-driven marketplace, and combine that together. And once you do that, you can fix this puzzle. There is so much value in food that isn't activated.
Right.
And there are so many data that isn't ours anymore. And we should grab it, create a marketplace, and reverse the systemic incentives.
Right.
The incentives in our food system are only based on efficiency and a few people making money. And we can change that.
It's interesting. We had a short conversation during coffee, talking about blockchain, kind of, and also the connection between between farmers and consumers. And then you also already mentioned the importance of data, but at the same time you also mentioned that who is going to own that data, like the supermarkets, right? I mean, would they be the right, let's say, stakeholder to own that data? Well, you didn't consider that the right one. No. So explain, how do you see it as a cooperative possibility, kind of cooperative, like cooperation, a cooperative.
The governance of data is really complex. Because you have a lot of players like Google and Facebook, but also John Deere, sensors on the trucks and tractors, and they get a lot of data from the soil, and they just give the farmer a small part of it, and the rest goes into their cloud, so they can make all kinds of estimates about how it will end up in the end of the season.
Don't forget about satellite data, for example, on vegetation quality. It's like
brilliant. So the value in learning how we can use data to help us from a regional perspective. We have a metropolitan region of Amsterdam with Almere and all this beautiful food. And if we say, okay, we have climate adaptation, we want to recreate in our region. We want to have the best food ever, and not by its size or its color. We have the best food and the best size, and it's epic what we have. But what about the nutrient value within the product? Right. Why don't we pay for that? And what if we have the food, and we have perfect food, but it can be much better if we focus on the nutrient value of food and say, well, this food is almost like a medicine. And how can we challenge the value of food with medicine, for instance? Pharmaceutical companies, they take a lot of money from our society and they do a lot of good. But I think if we appreciate food more, perhaps we can get some of the money back in our regional domain, and use that to transform our region and fix climate adaptation and all kinds of social elements between food and society.
Very, very good. A very interesting conversation, and I hope that everyone is seeing the challenge here. Like what the possibilities are. To my opinion, it's already mind blowing.
There's one thing in the metropolitan region of Amsterdam, together with the municipality of Almere and Amsterdam, we are working on a new governance model. The GAIN model is the basis. The Sustainable Development Goals are just like a lens and you can look through. And then you have the donut economy that sets boundaries. And combining the interaction between stakeholders in the region, looking at the common languages of the SDGs, but also making it whole within the donut economy model. I think in this region, the metropolitan region of Amsterdam, something really exciting is going on. And it's an invitation to all other smart cities that want to collaborate with us.
Great. Well, that's a great, let's say, start for the next speaker,
I know.
which is Erik Koldenhoff, Senior Program Manager Food Strategy. Thanks for that. Thanks for the conversation.
Okay.